Let me tell y'all something real today. Love is powerful, relationships are beautiful, but respect, loyalty, and trust are the foundation. You can't keep building with somebody who keeps tearing the house down. Too many people stay stuck in toxic cycles because they confuse comfort with commitment. Now, forgiveness is good, but wisdom is better. There are certain things in a relationship that, once crossed, you don't hand out another chance like free candy. You got to protect your peace, your heart, and your future. Because when you know your worth, you stop negotiating with people who don't know how to value you. Listen to me. I don't care how much you think you love somebody, how much time you've invested, or how much history you two got. There are certain lines in a relationship that once they're crossed, you don't go back. People always talk about second chances like they're a badge of honor. But let me tell you something, giving chance after chance to somebody who keeps hurting you is not strength, it's self-sabotage. There are behaviors that if a person shows you, you need to stop fooling yourself, stop waiting for them to change and walk away for good. Because your peace of mind, your self-worth, and your future matter more than clinging to a relationship that keeps breaking you down. If somebody lies to you once, you might tell yourself, well, maybe they slipped, maybe it was a mistake. But if they lie to you over and over, that's not a mistake anymore, that's who they are. Lying becomes a habit, a character trait, and you can't build trust on that. Trust is the backbone of every relationship. Without it, love doesn't stand a chance. When someone keeps lying, you're not in a partnership, you're in a guessing game, and you're always the fool on the losing side. Don't let somebody play you like that. Respect is another non-negotiable. I don't care how much chemistry you think you got. If someone consistently disrespects you, talks down to you, belittles you, mocks your dreams, or makes you feel small, you need to recognize that for what it is. Disrespect is poison, and no amount of apologies or I didn't mean it is going to change that. A relationship without respect is like trying to breathe without air. It won't last. Don't let anyone make you feel less than who you are. The right person will honor you, uplift you, and celebrate your worth, not tear you down. Now let's talk about betrayal, specifically cheating. Cheating is not a slip up. It's not a mistake. It's a choice. Nobody just accidentally falls into somebody else's arms. That's intentional. That's deliberate. And that's a decision they made knowing it would hurt you. When somebody cheats, they're telling you loud and clear that they value their own selfish desires over your love and loyalty. And if they can choose themselves over the relationship once, what makes you think they won't do it again? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Don't let yourself become a repeat victim of betrayal. There's something even deeper that I need to stress, and that's abuse, whether it's emotional, verbal, or physical. If someone puts their hands on you, manipulates you, controls you, or breaks you down mentally, that is a hard stop. There are no excuses. No, I was angry. No, I didn't mean it. Abuse is not love. And the moment you give that a second chance, you give them permission to hurt you again. Protect yourself. Protect your spirit. Nobody who truly loves you will abuse you. And let's not forget neglect. You can't say you love somebody and then constantly ignore their needs, overlook their feelings, and only show up when it's convenient. Love is not words, it's action. It's consistency. If your partner can't show up for you when it matters, if they don't support your dreams, if they don't make you feel valued, that's not love. It's selfishness. Don't confuse crumbs for a meal. Don't hold on to someone who only gives you the bare minimum and expects you to be grateful for it. When you allow these things, lying, disrespect, cheating, abuse, neglect, to slide, you're telling the other person that your boundaries don't matter. You're teaching them how to treat you. But when you stand up and say, no more, not again, never twice, you're telling the world that you know your worth. Real love doesn't hurt, it heals. Real love doesn't tear down, it builds up. And until you believe that for yourself, You'll keep giving chances to people who don't deserve a second of your time. When it comes to love, too many people get blinded by the idea of holding on. They think if they just give a little more time, a little more patience, a little more forgiveness, then somehow the relationship will magically turn around. But what they don't understand is that love without respect is nothing but pain dressed up as devotion. Respect is the foundation. It's the oxygen of a relationship. Without it, the love you think you have will suffocate, and you'll be left gasping for something that should have been there all along. Respect isn't just about what someone says to you when things are going well. Respect is revealed in how they talk to you when they're angry. Respect is how they treat your dreams, your boundaries, your dignity. If a person can raise their voice, insult you, talk down to you, laugh at your ambitions, or dismiss your feelings, that's not a partner. That's a destroyer of peace. And once someone shows you who they are in that way, you have to believe them. You can't keep thinking that disrespect will turn into love. It won't. The problem is a lot of people mistake disrespect for passion. They tell themselves, well, he only talks like that when he's mad, or she doesn't really mean it. She just gets emotional. Let me break it down for you. Words cut deeper than knives. And once a person makes a habit of disrespecting you, those cuts turn into scars. You may forgive them 1,000 times, but the damage will still live inside you. And over time, you start doubting yourself, questioning your worth, wondering if maybe you really don't deserve better. That's how disrespect works. It doesn't just hurt you in the moment. It rewires the way you see yourself. Think about it. If you're in a relationship and you can't share your goals because your partner makes you feel stupid, that's not love. If you can't express your feelings without being mocked or dismissed, that's not love. If you feel small in the presence of the person who's supposed to lift you up, then what are you really holding on to? You're holding on to the idea of love, not the reality of it. Real love is supposed to elevate, not diminish. I see so many people staying in relationships where the disrespect has become routine. They say, oh, that's just how he is, or that's just her personality. No, that's not a personality. That's a choice. People choose how they treat you. They choose whether to honor you or belittle you. And if their choice is to constantly make you feel less, then your choice has to be to walk away. Because here's the truth, the longer you stay, the more you normalize the behavior. Before you know it, disrespect becomes your everyday reality, and you forget what it even feels like to be valued. Let me tell you something else. Respect and love are tied together. You cannot claim to love someone you don't respect. That's impossible. Love without respect is manipulation. Love without respect is control. Love without respect is temporary pleasure with long-term pain. So when a partner shows you that they can't respect you, they are also showing you that their love for you isn't real, no matter how many times they say the words. Don't confuse apologies for change. Somebody can say sorry 100 times, but if the disrespect keeps happening, the apology is just a way to reset the cycle and keep you hooked. Real change is not in what they promise after the fight. It's in how they treat you consistently when the emotions are calm. And if the disrespect is still there, that's all the proof you need that it's not going to get better. At some point, you have to decide that your dignity is not up for negotiation. You have to draw a line that no one can cross, no matter how much history you've got together, no matter how good the moments in between feel. Because a relationship that survives on highs and lows, love and disrespect, is not a safe place for your heart. The partner who truly values you will never make you question if you matter. They will never make you feel small just to feel big themselves. Cheating is one of those things people try to downplay when they're desperate to hold on to a relationship. They tell themselves, maybe it was just a mistake. Maybe it was just one time. Maybe they still love me. But let me break this down for you. Cheating is not an accident. It's not slipping on a banana peel, and landing in somebody else's arms. Cheating is a choice, a decision made with full awareness, and it says everything about a person's values and priorities. When somebody cheats on you, they're telling you loud and clear that their selfish desires mean more than your love, your trust, and your commitment. When you love somebody deeply, it's natural to want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But you got to stop making excuses for someone who didn't make excuses for you when they stepped out. They didn't think about your heart when they crossed that line. They didn't think about your loyalty when they entertained someone else. They didn't think about the tears you'd cry when the truth came out. In that moment, their only thought was about themselves. And when somebody shows you that kind of selfishness, you have to accept it for what it is. Cheating isn't just about physical betrayal. It's about the destruction of trust, and trust is the glue that holds everything together. Once it's broken, you can try to patch it up, but that crack will always be there. Every late night text, every unanswered call, every change in behavior will make you wonder if it's happening again. And the sad truth is, once they've cheated once, the likelihood of them doing it again goes up, because now they know where your breaking point is, and they know you'll take them back. That's why you can't hand out second chances in this situation. It's not about being unforgiving. It's about protecting your future. The thing about betrayal is that it changes you. It makes you question yourself. Was I not enough? Did I do something wrong? Am I lacking something? But let me tell you this straight: cheating is never about the person who was betrayed. It's always about the one who betrayed. Their inability to stay loyal is a reflection of their weakness, not your worth. You could be the most loving, supportive, loyal partner in the world, and if someone has cheating in their character, they'll still do it. Don't let their actions make you doubt your own value. There's another side to this too. When you forgive cheating and give someone another chance, you set a dangerous precedent. You teach them that they can shatter your trust and still have access to you. You show them that your loyalty is unconditional, even when theirs isn't. And once they know that, they lose respect for you. Because respect grows when boundaries are enforced, not when betrayal is tolerated. You might think you're keeping the relationship together, but in reality, you're lowering your standards while they keep lowering their behavior. I know people say, well, everybody deserves a second chance. But the truth is, not everyone deserves a second chance with you. Forgiveness is one thing. You can forgive somebody and still never let them back into your life. Forgiveness heals you, not the relationship. Giving them another chance is what keeps the wound open. You can release the pain, let go of the anger, and still refuse to let that person sit at the table of your future. Love is supposed to feel safe. Love is supposed to be a place where you know someone's got your back when you're not looking. The moment someone proves they can't be trusted behind your back, they've disqualified themselves. Because what's the point of being in love with someone if you have to play detective every day? That's not love, that's prison. So you've got to stop clinging to cheaters, hoping they'll become loyal. You've got to stop convincing yourself that betrayal is just a bump in the road. Betrayal is a dead end. And if you keep walking down that path, you'll lose yourself in the process. The right partner won't make you wonder if you're enough. They'll prove it to you every day by choosing you over everyone else. Loyalty is not complicated. It's a decision made every single day. If they can't make that decision consistently, then they don't deserve another chance with your heart. One thing I've got to be crystal clear about is abuse. Abuse in any form is a line that once crossed, you don't step back over. You don't step back over. You don't reconsider. You don't justify. You don't say, well, maybe it was just a bad day, or maybe they'll change. Abuse is never love, and the moment it shows up, that's the moment you need to protect yourself and leave. Too many people confuse patience with tolerance, thinking if they hold on long enough, the other person will see the error of their ways and transform. But abuse doesn't come from a lack of love. It comes from a lack of respect. And respect is something you can't teach someone who doesn't value you in the first place. Abuse doesn't always start big. Sometimes it begins with small things, sarcasm that cuts a little too deep, controlling what you wear, telling you who you can and can't talk to, raising their voice until you feel small. Then over time, those little things escalate. It becomes insults, manipulation, intimidation, maybe even hands raised in anger. And before you know it, you're trapped in a cycle where you excuse the behavior because you remember the good moments in between. But those good moments are not love. They're the hook that keeps you tied to a toxic cycle. Real love never has to hurt you to prove itself. People who abuse will often blame you for their actions. They'll say, "You made me mad," or "I wouldn't have done that if you didn't push me." Let me tell you this, nobody can make someone abuse them. Abuse is a choice, and when someone chooses to harm you emotionally, mentally, or physically, that's not love, it's control. And the worst mistake you can make is giving them another chance, because once you do, you give them permission to repeat it. You show them that your boundaries can be broken without consequence. And I promise you, if someone has crossed that line once, it won't stop there. Love is supposed to be a safe place. The person you're with should be the one you feel most secure around, not the one who makes you walk on eggshells. You should never have to fear the person you love. If your heart races with anxiety every time they walk in the room, if you change your behavior to avoid setting them off, if you're constantly questioning yourself just to keep the peace, then that's not love. It's prison. And you deserve freedom, not captivity. I hear people say, "But they said they're sorry. They promised they'll change." Let me tell you something. Apologies without action are manipulation. If someone is truly sorry, they will take steps to seek help, to take accountability, to prove through consistent behavior that they're no longer a threat to your peace. But more often than not, the apology is just a reset button to keep you from leaving. It's part of the cycle. Hurt, apologize, repeat. You've got to break that cycle before it breaks you. The damage abuse causes goes deeper than the scars you can see. Emotional abuse can make you question your worth. Verbal abuse can silence your voice. Physical abuse can destroy your spirit. And if you give someone another chance after they've proven capable of that, you risk losing the very essence of who you are. Your peace of mind, your dignity, your safety, they are priceless. Once those are taken from you, it takes years to rebuild. Don't let anyone strip them from you in the name of love. Here's the truth. Real love does not humiliate. Real love does not control. Real love does not hurt. Real love does not leave you broken and fearful. The right person will never raise a hand to you, never tear you down, never make you feel unsafe. If you stay with someone who does, you're not holding on to love. You're holding on to fear disguised as love. And the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to see the difference. But the moment you decide that abuse is unacceptable, that your life and peace are worth more than another chance, that's the moment you reclaim your power. Neglect in a relationship doesn't always make headlines like cheating or abuse, but it's just as damaging, sometimes even more because it happens quietly. You don't always notice it right away. It starts with small things. You tell them about your day, and they're not really listening. You share your dreams, and they shrug it off. You ask for support, and they're too busy. At first, you might excuse it. Tell yourself they've just got a lot going on. They're stressed. They'll come around. But over time, neglect becomes a pattern, and that pattern tells you exactly where you stand in their life. Neglect says, "You don't matter enough for me to show up." And love cannot survive in that kind of environment. Love is not just about saying, "I love you." Love is about consistent action. It's about showing up when it matters, about being there when you need a shoulder, about making you feel seen, heard, and valued. When someone neglects you, They take your presence for granted. They assume you'll always be there, even when they stop putting in the effort. That's the danger of neglect. It doesn't always look like cruelty, but it starves your soul slowly until you realize you're in a relationship where you feel more alone than when you're actually by yourself. Too many people settle for crumbs because they're afraid of being alone. They say, well, at least he's here, or at least she hasn't left. But being physically present is not the same as being emotionally available. Having someone in the room who doesn't engage, doesn't listen, doesn't connect, that's not companionship. That's emptiness with a body next to you. A real partner doesn't just take up space in your life, they add to it. They don't just show up when it's convenient. They show up because they care. Neglect can be even trickier because sometimes the person isn't openly disrespectful or abusive. So you convince yourself you should be grateful. You tell yourself, well, at least they don't yell at me. At least they're not cheating. But don't confuse the absence of bad behavior with the presence of love. Just because someone isn't mistreating you doesn't mean they're treating you right. Neglect is still a form of mistreatment, and it leaves scars of its own. It makes you question your importance, wonder if you're asking for too much, and doubt if you deserve real attention. Here's the thing, in a healthy relationship, your needs should matter. Your feelings should matter. Your presence should be celebrated, not ignored. If your partner constantly neglects you, ignores your efforts, or doesn't invest time and energy into you, that's not love, that's selfishness. Love is reciprocal. It's a give and take. And if you're the only one giving, eventually you'll run dry. A relationship cannot survive on one person carrying all the emotional weight. The hardest part about neglect is how easy it is to get used to. You start lowering your expectations, telling yourself you don't need as much, convincing yourself that maybe you're being too needy. But needing love, attention, and care is not weakness. It's human. You deserve a partner who chooses you every day, who makes the effort to remind you that you matter, who invests in the relationship the way you do. If you're constantly left feeling invisible, then what you have is not love. It's a placeholder. And you should never settle for being someone's afterthought when you're worthy of being a priority. Giving someone another chance after they've proven they will neglect you is giving them permission to keep treating you like an option. And once someone knows they can ignore you without losing you, they'll never change. Neglect doesn't fix itself because it's rooted in indifference, and indifference is the opposite of love. If someone truly cares, you won't have to beg for their time, their effort, their affection. It will flow naturally. So don't let neglect fool you into thinking you're loved. Don't cling to someone who leaves you starving for attention while feeding everyone else around them. Your heart deserves to be nourished, not starved. And if the person you're with refuses to give you that, then you owe it to yourself to walk away and make space for someone who will. Knowing your worth is the key that unlocks everything in relationships. The reason so many people get stuck in cycles of hurt, betrayal, disrespect, or neglect is because deep down they don't believe they deserve better. When you don't know your worth, you'll accept anything just to keep somebody around. You'll excuse behavior you shouldn't excuse. You'll hand out second, third, and fourth chances to people who keep proving they don't value you. But when you finally realize your worth, you stop negotiating with people who don't respect your heart, and you start setting standards that protect your peace. Your worth isn't defined by who chooses you. It's defined by who you are. Too often, people wait for validation from a partner to feel valuable. They think, if he loves me, then I'm special, or if she stays, then I must be enough. But your value isn't up for debate, and it isn't determined by somebody else's inability to see it. Gold is still gold whether somebody recognizes it or not. The problem is when you forget your gold and start settling for being treated like scrap. That's when you allow people to come into your life and play with your time, your body, and your emotions. When you know your worth, you won't allow repeated dishonesty because you'll recognize that trust is too valuable to waste. When you know your worth, you won't tolerate disrespect because you'll understand that love without honor isn't real love. When you know your worth, you won't give a cheater another shot because you'll realize that loyalty is negotiable. When you know your worth, you'll walk away from abuse without hesitation because you'll understand your safety and peace are priceless. And when you know your worth, you won't settle for neglect because you'll refuse to be invisible in your own relationship. The tricky thing is, sometimes people confuse knowing their worth with arrogance. But it's not arrogance, it's self-respect. There's a big difference between being proud and being proud of yourself. Knowing your worth doesn't mean you think you're perfect. It means you refuse to be treated like you're disposable. It means you understand that real love should add to your life, not subtract from it. And it means you're willing to be alone rather than trapped with someone who makes you feel lonely. Here's the reality. The way you treat yourself sets the tone for how others will treat you. If you keep letting someone cross your boundaries, they'll keep doing it. If you keep forgiving the unforgivable, they'll keep giving you reasons to forgive. But when you stand firm in your value, people either rise up to meet your standard or fall away. Either way, you win because the ones who stay will be the ones who truly see and appreciate who you are. Knowing your worth also means not being afraid to walk away. Walking away doesn't mean you didn't love them. It means you finally loved yourself enough to stop letting them hurt you. It's easy to confuse staying with strength, but sometimes the strongest thing you can do is leave. It takes courage to say, I deserve more than this. It takes faith to let go of something that feels familiar, even when it's painful. But that's the kind of faith that leads to a better future. At the end of the day, love is not about how much you can endure. It's about how much joy, peace, and fulfillment you can share. If the person you're with can't give you that, then knowing your worth means refusing to waste another day hoping they'll change. The right person won't need to be convinced to treat you right. The right person will recognize your worth immediately and protect it, cherish it, and honor it. But you'll never find that right person if you keep giving chance after chance to the wrong one. So you've got to stand tall in who you are. You've got to believe you're valuable even if nobody else says it. And you've got to draw boundaries that tell the world, this is what I will accept, and this is what I will never allow again. Because the moment you start living like you know your worth, you'll stop settling for less and finally make room for the love you truly deserve.